I think there is, rather than the lack of education, because we know that in general in the world the architecture education is very traditional. So the undergraduate education is mainly focusing on design, construction, perhaps detailing, architectural technology. So people, when they come out and they go out there for experience, then they find out that sustainability is a hot topic and it's something that we need to tackle with. So in terms of bringing that component into their design ability or day-to-day experiences, they having to go into specialist courses. So that's where we come in, and not just British University, but there are other institutions obviously that are trying to tailor some of these courses for people coming from architecture background. I see a lot of opportunities because there are a lot of projects that's going on, and when we talk about projects, we're not talking about small scale projects, we're talking about sort of like big complexes, mega buildings. So this will require a lot of interdisciplinary work when it comes to sustainability, and meeting the sustainability you have to bring a lot of players, not just architects, but you have to obviously bring in other players such as the engineers to actually enforce this. So what's happening in the region in terms of the trends for sustainability is we are seeing, particularly in the last 5 years, projects with a sustainability hat. You know, how do we get projects that can be exemplar projects for the rest of the world or rest of the region, let's say. So this is what we're seeing happening in particularly the UAE. You know, exemplar projects coming into market with a sustainability embedded in right from the early design stages up to the detail and then the handover. This is one of the areas that sustainability or sustainable design is criticized with, the advice we give is basically the earlier you start embedding the sustainability principles into your project, the less cost effective it will become. But then again, educating the client why it is important sometimes to actually invest in such aspects at the early stages, because when we talk about a project, we have to think about a life span of the project. So when we think about the return on investment, actually we have to consider the full life costing. Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, more than the profit, it's something that, like leaders in architecture, I mean, I like the title because being sustainable could be a leadership in architecture and leading for exemplar projects, so that people can learn how sustainability was embedded in the projects, and they can actually mimic the same thing or follow the same path. I think one of the obstacles would be, I already mentioned, is to educate the client. Clients are more aware than 10 years back, let's say, but there is still sort of have this mindset that sustainability will cost more, like you mentioned earlier on. So I think it's a matter of trying to educate them at the beginning and trying to give them the full sort of longer term benefits of sustainability and why it should be embedded at the early stages of design. So that's what I would say. I think this is an excellent event and I'm really excited to be part of it. It's the first event that actually I am attending since I've been in this region, which is 1.5 years now, and it's really good. Definitely. And I will encourage my colleagues and my students, my professional students, to actually to come and join the conference. Definitely.